All it takes is one visit to Kia's website to figure out who they're marketing this third-generation Soul to. Am I young, hip, and urban enough to qualify for that demographic or relate to this car? We're about to find out.
There are 6 trim levels for the Soul, 7 if you include the EV version that's still on the horizon as of the making of this video. The base LX starts at a quite affordable $18,450, including destination. Then you've got the S and the GT line. Our tester, the mid-range X line, starts closer to $22,500, followed by the EX before you get to the top of the line GT Turbo that's closer to $28,500.
So this is the X line. Now, while normally we'll get the high-end trim level that has all the extras so we can test them, I'm really glad that we got this one, more of a volume model, so we can really see what most people who buy this are getting. You'll see when we get into the interior, it's not slathered with lavish materials, but what they have in here, they actually do really nicely. There's this kind of cool Death Star pattern. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks pretty awesome. And yeah, some stuff is basic, but it has everything that you need, and it's honestly really intuitively laid out. The Soul's interior may be simple, but it's quite pleasing. Space is cavernous in here. Now on Kia's website, they have a whole bunch of friends like being cool and hanging out together. I don't have any friends, I just have this guy, and well, he's paid to be here. I guess that's one strike against me in the cool factor, right? But there is excellent head and leg room back there, even for tall people. Are you comfortable, James?
Yeah.
All right. However, there's no center armrest and no climate controls for your unpaid friends. Are you still comfortable?
Yeah.
All right. There's even a lot of cargo space back here for this compact crossover class. Now, Kia has another picture on their website of a guy sitting back in the open hatch like this, playing some drums. I don't know, maybe that means that the whole kit will fit back here? But what would I know? I played the flute when I was in the 6th grade. We don't have the upgraded Swank Harman Kardon sound system in this trim, but we do have a 7-inch touchscreen that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard. Now, if you upgrade to those 2 highest trim levels, you get a 10.25-inch screen, which is nice and wide. But this is still a pretty good size and has a really nice balance between buttons and touchscreen.
The X-Line trim does have a lot of safety features like blind spot collision warning, lane change assist, and rear cross-traffic collision warnings. Those actually are standard across all trims. Smart cruise control is available, but only on the highest GT Turbo. Also included on that GT Turbo is a smart key with push-button start, a head-up display, heated steering wheel, wireless charging, larger brakes, and leatherette seats. On his first drive of the 3rd-generation Soul, Micah drove that GT line turbo that makes significantly more horsepower than the rest of the Souls, including our tester. Poor Souls. Sorry, couldn't help it. Hey, that one doesn't count.
So we only get 147 horsepower from the 2-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated mill in this X-Line. You know what? It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but gosh, this thing actually has a lot of chutzpah for this little nugget. The GT Turbo gets a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, which is awesome. You can get a manual transmission, but that's only available on the base LX. Otherwise, you are relegated to a continuously variable transmission. I cannot believe I'm saying this. You guys know how I feel about CVTs, but this one is pretty good. It's the same CVT that they use on the Forte, and I have to say it mimics gears pretty well, especially when you're in sport mode. Progress.
The steering on the Soul, while not world-class, has nice weight to it, and it's quick and responsive without being overzealous, thus needing a lot of corrections, especially mid-turn. I won't call the suspension refined. You can really feel potholes in the road. I'd like to see it a bit smoother, but a lot could be achieved with upgraded tires. One thing I thought was a big oy for me is the engine automatic stop-start. The Soul almost feels like it shudders when waking up after a stop. Blissfully, that can be shut off.
In spite of its boxiness, it doesn't feel top-heavy, especially when driving around corners. This Soul has a longer wheelbase than the second generation, so it gives it a much more well-balanced feel.
Gas mileage estimates aren't as good as some of the competition for this urban bebop machine. The Honda Fit and Nissan Kicks both get more, while the Toyota CHR is quite comparable, and all are trailed by the Jeep Renegade. We'll be watching to see where the forthcoming Hyundai Venue nets out in this group.
I love what Kia's done with the redesign of the exterior. It's different, but it's not unrecognizable, and it's still boxy. It's requisitely small enough to fit into a city parking spot, and you know what it is when you see it. That is called personality and character, people. I just hope there are no human-sized hamsters jumping out of there.
The X-Line is the trim for you if you want rugged fun. Let's call it the Urban Adventure Soul, since that's what Kia says. It's got an exterior body kit with this rugged appearance cladding, though it doesn't really show up super great in the gray. But it's also got 18-inch alloy wheels and roof rails. However, all-wheel drive is not available on this or any other trim. The GT Turbo and non-turbo version both come with a more aggressive, sporty appearance package, with a slightly different grille, red body accents and interior stitching, and a chrome-plated dual exhaust, where the base LX, the S, and EX are all more subdued. But when any Soul drives down the street, there's no mistaking it. In today's baby ute soup, that's a huge bonus.
So what's the final verdict? Am I hip, young, and urban enough for this car? Okay, we get it. But you probably are. So if you're looking for an inexpensive car that has really distinct personality and good standard tech, well, you probably don't have to look too deeply into your Kia Soul. Ugh, that is just a really bad dad joke.